Hey YouTube, what's up? It hasn't been, last time that I recorded for you guys, it seemed like I went for like 2 months without making a video for you guys. Well, I told you I was going to start doing videos more often, so this is me doing that. We're going to be reviewing a new deck profile today. This is going to be Shadow Paladins, as you could probably tell from the tag, but before we get into it, there are a couple of things I want to talk about future deck videos. There are a lot of people who have asked me to do updates or deck profiles on certain things. For example, I got a request to do Prism Dragons for a buddy fight. The Prism Dragon deck profile that I posted, I think it's been over a year. I did make some minimal changes to it, but I ended up scrapping the deck. I just wasn't using it. I had no interest in continuing to play it. It's not that I don't like Prism's Dragons or Athora in general. It's just there are other things in Buddy Fight specifically that I was wanting to play at the time. So I'm just not going to be continuing that deck. So I pretty much have the core, if that interests anybody. But anywho, I am going to be covering Dradeity for Buddy Fight, which is Gargantua Dragon. Once I finish getting what I need for the deck. The reason that I ended up choosing to build Dradeity is I started thinking, and out of all the main characters in Buddy Fight, Drum, and then 5th Omni, Drum for Season 2, then you have Bow, Bots. I've done like the main characters deck pretty much every season, so I figured I would just go ahead and do Dradeity too. I finally have gotten caught up with the anime. And I will admit, Garga does look fun to play. I don't think, I'm not as crazy about it as I am, say, Bots or Drum, but Garga's playstyle is interesting. So I will be covering that deck in the future. Don't know when, but it will be covered eventually. So look forward to that. As for other Buddy Fight deck profiles, the two decks that I've also gotten requests to do is Link Dragon Order and the Astrology Dragons, the Star Dragon World deck cross. I don't know which one of those to build, so I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If you guys would rather see me do Link Dragon Order or Cross, they're both relatively very cheap decks to build, so if you want to see me do Cross or Link Dragon Order, I mean, I know which one I want to do, kind of, and I might end up doing both eventually one day, but as far as Link Dragon Order or the Astrology Dragons, I don't know what people call them, tell me which one y'all want, and I'll lean towards finishing that. On the Vanguard side, I will be bringing you an updated Royal Paladin and Gold Paladin deck profile. I need to get the Royal Paladin support. I need to get the Gold Paladin support. I will be bringing you deleters when they come out, because the new deleter set I actually like a lot better than the original deleters when they came out. I have a very unique take on that, and I'll cover that when I review the deck. But and then I'll obviously be updating Shadows once I get the support for it. It comes out March 22nd, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So you'll get Shadow Paladin and Deleter updates for that. I probably won't do Deleters until I have the trial decks plus all the cards that I need. I just feel that would be smarter than saying, here's the trial deck and here's the support, instead of having to make 2 videos. So you'll get an updated Royal Gold Shadow and Deleters, or Link Joker. As for the rest of Vanguard, I do eventually want to break out and do Aquaforce, because I do like Aquaforce. I really don't like the direction Gear Chronicle took in Standard as of right now, so I won't be covering them. And then I'm pretty sure some of my other teammates will have other decks that I can profile for you guys when I go to Texas in June. I know my friend Christian, I believe he has Angel Feathers, so I can get him to profile that. I can get Sam to profile Great Nature. So if there are other decks that you want to see me review or build, please let me know. Because there are times where I really just don't know what I want to work on next. So this video, like I said, we're going to be talking about Shadow Paladins. So let's get into it. So for the starter, it's obvious we have full bow. Full bow is it's really cool that they stuck with full bow because they didn't really start with the original Royal Paladin starter because it was that Stardust Trumpeter, which I prefer the dog anyway, but it is cool that full bow is still the starter, and his skill is the same as every other one of the standard starters are. Trigger lineup, we got 4 Dark Side Trumpeter and 3 Death Feather Eagle. I play 7 crits. I will say I am a little disappointed that for the second crit it wasn't Grim Reaper, but that's just nitpicky. 4 Dark Shield MacLear for draw PGs, and then I play 1 Halal for 5 draws. I can even see going to 6/6 when you get the new support with Gust Blaster. And then we got our 4 Abyss Healers, so nothing too out of the ordinary. And to be real honest, this deck really isn't anything out of the ordinary right now. It's just what we have. It's just my take on it. 4 Skull Witch Nemain. Skull Witch Nemain, she's a pretty decent card. You call her to the field, and then you can rest her to superior call out another monster from the deck with 5,000 or less power, or no, exactly 5,000 power, and then call her, and then you can only use this skill once per turn, no matter which Nemain you're using, and you can't, for instance, rest this Nemain, call this Nemain, and then rest this Nemain to call out another one. That'd be too broke. So this is mainly to help set up your Phantom Blaster plays. So I don't know how many 5,000 power units I'm going to play because I know we get Blackwing Swordbreaker and the new support. I'm just going to have to mess with that. For Black Sage Karen. Karen is an amazing card. Whenever she's called out through an ability, Soul Blast 1, Countercharge 1, and she gains +3. So, really good card. Gives you some countercharging. For Blaster Javelin, this card I'm not really that crazy about. He'll probably be dropped almost completely once the new stuff comes out, but right now we really don't have a whole lot of option. He's not bad by any stretch. It's just he's just kind of meh. Whenever you place him, if you have 2 grade 1s on the field, you can counterblast 1. He gains +3k and draw a card, and it counts himself. So if you say have 1 javelin and then call a second, his skill would work. So, and then 2 Blaster Dagger. To be real honest, this is probably going to get booted up to 3. I just only have 2 Dagger at the moment because I do like Blaster Dagger. He in the standard format, it's a lot like you're playing old school Vanguard, where card advantage is at its most crucial because you don't have as many ways to regain card advantage like you did in the Stride era. So this is a really, really good card because it'll force your opponent to guard more if they want to keep a field. So now for grade 2s. 4 copies of Blaster Dark, and I do have all 4 Ren signed Blaster Darks, which I'm very happy about. So Blaster Dark, he is really, really good. When you call or ride him, you counterblast 1 and pop one of your opponent's rear guards, and then your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires. I'm sorry, and then if your opponent has no rear guards, you may discard 1 card from your hand. If you do, he gets +1 drive and gets twin drive during the turn. So, really, really good card, especially early on because you're most likely going to get that twin drive off. And so, very, very nice. 4 copies of Darkness Maiden Matcha. Matcha, her skill is once per turn you can counterblast 1, call a grade 1 unit, draw a card, and she gains +5k. So I don't know how I feel about her, to be honest. She'll probably be replaced with Darkside Trumpeter, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I might play, a couple of each, or 3 of one, 2 of another, I don't know. But she's really just like I said. This deck is very straightforward and basic. It's if you ever played like original Shadow Paladins with the original Phantom Blaster Dragon, then you know what I mean. But she's nothing special, but she does get you a draw, which is nice. And then this card is pretty good. His name is Tragic Knight Cathbed. So Cathbed, his effect is whenever he attacks the Vanguard, he gets +3, so he'll instantly hit 13 every time he attacks. And then he gets whenever it attacks the Vanguard, it gets +3,000 power until the end of battle for each rear guard you have more than your opponent. I mean, I realize it may not kick all the time, but most of the time with this deck, you're going to have more rear guards than your opponent because of your skills. So if, say, you have 2 more rear guards than your opponent, he gets +6. So he's a pretty good card. You can swing pretty high numbers with him, so he's really good, and he doesn't cost any counterblast. So, and then for the grade 3s, our main guy, we have Phantom Blaster Dragon. Phantom Blaster Dragon, I really like the card art they gave him this time. The original Phantom Blaster Dragon, the triple rare version, I really didn't like. The SP was sick, but this version is so cool. So, Phantom Blaster Dragon, his ability, Counterblast 1. Choose 3 of your rear guards and retire them, and then your opponent must retire 3 of their units. And then this unit gets +15,000 power and +1 critical until the end of turn. And then its other ability is once per turn, if your opponent has 4 or less cards in the damage zone and no rear guards, you can Soul Blast 1 grade 3 and deal your opponent 1 damage. So he can push your opponent to 5, which is very, very good before he even attacks. So, you know, he is there. For the other grade 3s, I don't know where my second Dark Dictator went. I know I had 2, but I don't know where he went. But Dark Dictator, he's really in here just as a backup. During your turn, he gets +2,000 power for every rear guard you have. And then his other abilities, once per turn, you can Counterblast 1 and call a grade 2 or less card out of your hand, and that card gets +5k until end of turn, and then your opponent retires 1 unit off their field. And then the other guy is 2 copies of Dark Mage Bahadkar. Bahadkar is once per turn you can Soul Blast 1, and you get to look at the top card of your deck, and you can either call it to the rear guard circle, or you can put it into the drop zone. If you call it, the unit gets +5,000 power until end of turn, and then at the end of that turn, whatever unit you called, you retire. He's in here mainly to help you set up for Phantom Blaster Dragon. So these other 3 grade 3s are pretty much non-existent, because it seems like every time I've played it, you just ride straight to PvD immediately, just because you can just pressure instantly with it. And then, you know, there's nothing really necessarily wrong with just riding another one. Dark Dictator won't even be in the deck once Gust Blaster comes out. He'll just be gone. And then it'll probably be 4 Phantom Blaster Dragon, 2 copies of Dark Mage, and then maybe 3 Gust Blaster. So, you know, that's pretty much how the deck's going to look, most likely. But, you know. So. So, anyway, guys, that is my Shadow Paladin standard deck profile. So, like I said, there's really not much to say about this deck right now because it's pretty straightforward. The first wave of support for almost any deck is pretty straightforward because it's limited. You have limited options, but it is a very fun deck to play. It's very aggressive. It has the ability to regenerate pretty quick. You just have to play your cards right. But it is a fun deck, so if you are looking for someone to tell you, if you're not a Shadow Paladin fan and you want to get into it, Shadow Paladin is a very fun clan. I've always enjoyed playing Shadows. So, anywho, guys, I will be doing a deck profile update of this once I get Gust Blaster and the new support. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile, so please leave a like and a comment and tell me in the comment section below about all the deck discussion we had before this, what you want me to build in the future. So anyway, guys, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't, and I'll see you next time.